Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Her Silent Howl. Episode 6. Markus POV. All I wanted was to hold my Tulai for the rest of the night. It was almost midnight and I could feel her exhaustion, both mental and physical. All I wanted to do was take a shower and hold her in my arms to rid myself of the thoughts and actions that I had to make tonight and to assure myself that she was safe. I hated torture, but I didn't want to make anyone else bear that burden on their souls. Atlas and I always shared control, which helped put the fear into them. Even Jillian said he was still not used to seeing Atlas one black eye and my one grey. I picked her up and was heading to our floor when I saw Jillian arguing with the 3 warriors that went to get Marcy. I sighed. I had a sneaking suspicion of what the argument was about. Jillian made eye contact with me and I knew my night was not yet over. I sighed and kissed Celeste on the forehead. Evil never sleeps, she half giggled. I wish I could though, I grumbled as I headed for the office instead. I was about to sit on the couch when I remembered what Levi had said about the office being bugged and I turned around to back out of the office when Jillian came in. Not here, I said, bugged remember. Not sure who might still be listening, I finished through Mind Link. He grinned at me and pulled a small Tupperware out of his pocket. No more bug. I've had people scanning the entire packhouse for bugs. All except your bedroom and personal office. I've got someone waiting outside for your permission. I looked at the Tupperware closely, I could see the little electronic bug inside. Do it now, I would like to sleep at some point tonight, I sighed and sat down on the couch. I didn't want to let go of Celeste, so she just sat up on my lap. Jillian's eyes glazed over as he instructed them to scan our bedroom and office. We couldn't find Marcy, he said. And even though I had already figured as much, I couldn't help the growl that made its way out of my chest. It appears she cleaned out in a hurry. The guest apartment she was staying at looks like she ransacked it. I called the restaurant since it was still open and they said she went back to Italy yesterday. Some type of family emergency. Family emergency. She knew what they had planned, I said. I believe so as well. We will have to speak with the council. They are the only ones that can request her parents' pack to hand her over. I buried my face in Celeste's hair. I took a deep breath, allowing the mate bond to calm my rage. All right, it looks like that's all we can do today. Get some rest. We will revamp the security measures not only for everyday tasks, but also revisit the security measures for the Luna ceremony. I don't want any more incidents of what happened today. They got too far in for comfort. Yes, I have already asked Evergreen to revamp our electronic security measures. He's bringing his tools with him. He's also requested that while he's home, he be allowed to stay for the full moon run as it's been 4 years since he's made some rounds. All right. Good night, brother. We will talk in the morning. Thank you for everything you've done today. Of course. I only wish it would have had a different outcome, he said sadly. Jillian, Celeste said, getting up. Luna? He questioned. Celeste hugged him then. Thank you for being in our lives. When she pulled back she smiled at both of us. We are going to Mexico next month. Please make sure to learn some Spanish. I can help you with some of it, but I have been looking online and there's an app that will teach you how to communicate. Can you do me a favor and download it? I would prefer not to be the only person translating." I dropped my jaw and Celeste only giggled. "Come love. I think we're overdue for a shower and I am exhausted," she said, holding out her hand. I took her hand and allowed her to lead me to the elevator, leaving a very confused Jillian still in the office. As we ascended, I finally looked at her still smiling. "Do I want to know what that was about?" I asked. She looked at me with a twinkle in her eye. "I was just letting him know of a vision I had a little while back. With everything happening lately, I'd forgotten to tell him. Being the only person that understands Spanish will be exhausting, so I'd like him to learn," she said innocently. And why wouldn't you ask me to learn it as well?" I asked, not believing the explanation coming out of that pretty mouth. "Well, I would like you to learn too, but you've got me to teach you," she purred now. Actually purred as she pressed her entire body against mine to stand on tippy-toe and kiss me hard on the lips. It was a distraction. She knew that. I knew that. And I still didn't care. I picked her up and she wrapped her legs around my waist. I ran us straight to the shower, tripping over my pants as I simultaneously tried to close the door with my foot and shimmy out of the slacks. Celeste threw her head back and laughed. She grabbed the edge of the shower door for a moment and I hesitated, wondering if she changed her mind when she brought out her phone from her pants and lightly threw it into the dirty hamper so it wouldn't break. She then grabbed my hair and crushed her lips to mine again. I closed the door to the shower and brought us both into the shower stream. She gasped as she felt the water hit her and I dove my tongue into her mouth, getting a moan from her. I slammed her against the wall of the shower. I buried my face in her neck as we came down from our high. "Gracias amor," she said and giggled. I laughed. "I know that one," I said as I kissed her nose. I gently pulled out and helped her stand. We removed our clothing and began the actual task of showering. Suddenly she turned around. "The stuff from the deposit box," she said. "It is all in the closet." Maya grabbed it all and placed it on the island in the closet for us when we were retrieving Ruby. "Oh good. It will save a lot of time tomorrow with the dress." "I'm pooped," she said and I nodded. We got into bed and I grabbed her and pulled her to me, spooning her into me. "I love you Tulai," I murmured. I got back a gentle snore in response and I felt Atlas' smugness at having satisfied our mate before I also followed her into sleep. Celeste POV. I woke up from a dreamless sleep to find the bed empty. I frowned. I didn't like waking up alone anymore. I need my morning dose of Markus scent. Kara was already asking me to go look for him. I grabbed some clothes and went into the bathroom. I showered, changed, and put my hair in a braid. I was about to go look for Markus, when I heard him calling me from our personal office. He had opened the door while I was showering. "Good morning," I said, noticing Jillian and Danny in the chairs across the desk. A blush rose to my cheeks as I slowed my walk. I had intended to jump him the moment I'd seen the smile on his face widen as he looked at me. "Good morning Luna," Jillian said, trying to cover a laugh with a cough as I walked towards Markus' desk. "Don't let him shame you, Luna. Nothing wrong with a little morning nookie. I had mine with Maya already." He will understand when he finds his mate, Danny said, and I was sure I resembled a tomato more than a person right now and turned to just walk away when I felt Markus' arms around me and he dragged me back and onto his lap. I squeaked in surprise. How you two haven't gotten punched in the face before is beyond me, Markus sighed as he put his face in my neck. What's going on? I asked, desperate to change the subject but sneaking my own inhale of Markus' scent into my body. Jillian's eyes lit up at this. Well, we were discussing the vision you told us about yesterday. Ruby? I asked, a pang of pain shooting through my heart. Jillian looked crestfallen at that. Oh no. I'm sorry Luna, I forgot you had one yesterday about Ruby. I was talking about the one you spoke to us about last night before bedtime. I scrunched my nose, trying to remember Mexico. Markus mind linked. Oh right, did you download the app I suggested? He smiled. I did, especially after I got a file from Evergreen this morning. We trust this Evergreen? I asked. Danny laughed. Even if we didn't, he would know. Evergreen is a genius-level security specialist and hacks networks for a hobby, but he is also my cousin. My mother's sister made it outside the pack, and we visited him and him us, often. He joined the pack only a couple of years ago after he became an employee for Markus' security firm and has done our electronic security measures every time we have asked him. He's never here as he likes to take an active part in implementing all of the security measures we sell to clients. I should find out more about what you do for business, I mind-linked Markus. All in good time, love. We can't push everything at you at once, he said as he hugged me. What did the file say? I brought us back to the topic at hand. He traced your bloodline back to Mexico City, then traced it forward through both the male and female side. Most of your particular bloodline has almost died off, but there's a few people in a small pack outside of Mexico City that are part of your same bloodline, albeit through the male side. He believes we may find more information there, as the knowledge would still be passed on in the event that a female was born with an ability. He is waiting for our go-ahead to try to make contact and arrange a visit. Jillian said. That's amazing. I like him already. Can you forward me the file? I'd like to compare it to the tree we found in the PO box. Tree? What tree? Danny asked. I'd forgotten about that, Markus said and got up to go grab them. As we were waiting for Markus to come back, we heard rapping on the bedroom room door and then a very loud, Luna, wake up, we have to find you a dress. I quickly put my finger to my lips to Danny and Jillian, who were about to start laughing, and hid in the little closet in the office. I heard Markus' muffled voice as the door opened. I heard Kelly speaking with Markus and then I heard her voice in the office. Where did she go? She said. I think she went that way. I heard Jillian say. No, she went out the window when she heard your voice, Danny corrected. I was trying not to giggle in the closet as Kelly growled at the boys. To lie. Markus' voice called before the door opened to reveal a frustrated Kelly. She grabbed my hand and dragged me out of the closet. I have never in my life met two women that didn't like to go shopping. You are truly monsters. I was dragged to the door and as I passed Markus, he dipped quickly to give me a goodbye kiss. Betrayed by my own mate. Don't think this breach of trust will go unpunished, I warned, and held 2 fingers in front of my eyes before I flipped them to point to his. He just chuckled and shook his head. Before she could drag me down the hallway, I stood my ground. "Wait, Kelly Luna, we're going to be late," she said. "I already spent 10 minutes corralling Maya," she said, gesturing towards the elevator where Maya was waiting with her arms crossed over her chest. "But I have my dress," I told her. "What? How? Did you actually go shopping by yourself?" she demanded, slightly hurt. "No, of course not. I found my dress at the safety deposit box my mother left me," I said, and we made our way to the bedroom door. I motioned for her and Maya to follow me. We entered the bedroom and I went to the closet. I brought out the dress and unfolded it. The letter came out of it and I quickly grabbed it and put it on my dresser. I held up the dress for their approval. "It's beautiful, Celeste," Maya gushed. "It is, and it's perfect for the theme you picked. Put it on. We need to make sure we don't have to adjust it today," she said. I went back into the closet to change. I put it on and saw myself in the mirror on the back of the door. The dress was perfect. It fit perfectly, and it gave me such a longing for my parents. "Everything okay, Tulai?" Markus asked, concern in his voice. "I can feel your sadness." "I'm okay. Just trying on the dress and I suddenly missed my parents," I said. "You want me to come in there and chase them out?" he said. "No, I'm okay. This is just the first thing I've gotten of my mother's," I responded. "I love you. I love you more," I said as I came out the door to show Kelly. "Whoa, you look seriously hot and elegant," Kelly said as she circled me, "and it looks like it was made for you. Fits like a glove." "It's perfect," Maya squealed. The door to the office opened as Jillian and Danny stepped inside. They looked at me with their jaws dropped, but then Markus could be heard trying to push them and Kelly squeaked before pushing me into the closet. "Don't see her, Alpha." "It's tradition," she said as she locked me in. "Tradition," Markus grumbled and then, all right. I'm going." It's not like I didn't already see the dress at the bank. "Not the same. You can see her in the dress tomorrow during the ceremony," Kelly said, and then I heard the door slam. "Luna, please change. We still need to find Maya's and my dress. We have a full schedule today and Mom wants you out of the house as they start putting up decorations." I groaned and I heard the guys laugh in the office. I had forgotten about their dresses. Well, at least I didn't have to try 100 dresses on. I could just watch and judge. I dressed in my usual jeans and t-shirt and headed out the door. Danny and Markus opened the door and gave Maya and me a kiss before going back into the office as we left. Kelly sighed as she waited by the elevator. "You are lucky ladies to have found your mate so quick. I'm almost 21 and still got zilch." "I'm sure the wait will be worth it," Maya said. "I can't imagine life without Danny." I nodded in understanding. Life without Markus seemed so far in the past already. All three of us sighed and then started giggling at the mirrored emotions. We headed to the mall. Zach, Brent, George, and Gabriel were coming with us as guards. I had complained about the amount of attention 3 girls with 4 giant bodyguards would attract at a mall with humans in it, but after Ruby, neither Markus or Danny would let us out of their sight without a warrior, and even Jillian argued with Kelly about heading out with fewer guards. It was sweet that they worried about us, but who would try anything at the mall? We went to 3 stores before Kelly found a dress for Maya. It was simply beautiful. It was a fiery yellow A-line off-the-shoulder sweep train chiffon evening dress with some intricate sequin design on the bodice with a slit going down the right leg. Danny was going to have trouble keeping his hands off her for the whole ceremony. 2 stores later, we found Kelly's dress. It was a forest green one-shoulder mermaid dress with a diamond cut out at one side. It was elegant. Something that always seemed to describe the way she was. Once we had found the dresses, we went to the food court to get some food. I was standing in line with Gabriel near the Chinese lineup when I felt it. The hair was standing on end at the back of my neck. I suppressed a shiver and looked around, trying to find the source of discomfort, but I saw nothing. Kara was pacing in my head, also feeling anxious. We received our food and went to sit with Kelly, Maya, Zach, Brent, and George. We were sitting there eating and talking comfortably when I felt it again. That feeling of being watched. It made my skin crawl. I looked around again and thought I saw a familiar face in the crowd, but it was gone so quick that I thought I must be imagining it. Yet Kara seemed tense. She didn't want to be here anymore. "Luna, are you okay?" Zach asked, looking around. "I just felt like someone was watching us." "I'm probably imagining it," I said. "Is that what you felt earlier when we were waiting for our food?" Gabriel said, standing up and looking around. Their food forgotten, the boys all stood around us. "You noticed that?" I asked, and when he nodded I sighed. I am probably just imagining things. With what happened to Ruby? "I'm sorry to alarm you all. We will wait for you to finish eating and then we will head home," Brent said. "I am not really hungry anymore. Plus dinner is in a couple of hours. We should get home," I said. "Yes, it's better to be safe than sorry. Plus, we need to fit in these dresses tomorrow anyway," Kelly said, getting up and dumping the food in the trash. We all got up and dumped our trash in the bin, then started to make our way out of the food court when I caught a familiar scent. Familiar, but not enough for me to recognize it. It was too muddled from the food court that I didn't have a chance to really process what it was. The moment we got back home, Mrs. Quinn pushed us into the conference room for last-minute decisions and then forbade us to go to the back. She was quite adamant on it, and even made Markus place a guard at the back door entrance. I thought it was a bit extreme, but Markus asked me to play along. There had not been Luna since his mother passed when he was 5 and the entire pack was over the moon. I went upstairs to get ready for dinner. Markus said there would be several alphas and guests arriving for tomorrow that had had to travel long distances. They would be staying for a few days for the ceremony. Tomorrow morning, the council would arrive. With the help of Kelly, I had chosen a few outfits for each day. This whole event would be a full formal wear event. I was working on my makeup when Markus mind-linked me. "First guest is at the gate. Could you please come down to greet them with me, love?" "On my way," I said, finishing putting on the lipstick and looking at myself in the mirror. "Ready, Kara?" I asked. My eyes flipped to black for a moment as she said, "Born ready, baby. It's show time." Markus POV. I wish the Luna ceremony didn't require the pack house to be so full of people. I couldn't wait for Celeste to be officially recognized as my Luna, my mate, my partner, but if I didn't just want to keep her in our bedroom so I could have her all to myself. All the additional bodies made me uneasy as well. I was still on edge over what happened to Ruby. Atlas was on full alert, always keeping a link open to Karis so they could communicate. It had been really hard to let her go to the mall, but I had kept in constant contact with Gabriel through text. Evergreen had arrived and we were going over all of the security measures we had and his suggestions. We went over the security measures for tomorrow as well, leaving no stone unturned. His new tech would be pricey, but worth every penny. The man was a genius and a master of his trade. Still, every 5 minutes or so, Danny, Jillian or myself asked the guards for updates via text. I knew they were probably annoyed, but I also knew they took their job seriously, and with everything that happened, we were even being sent discreet pictures of the girls in the stores, looking through dresses. Mind you, Danny wasn't happy that they refused to share pictures of Maya in the dress she bought. They insisted that was a breach of trust and were not going to get in the middle of it. I found it quite funny after he'd been teasing me about not being allowed to see Celeste in her dress. Now we were waiting for the arrival of the alphas in my office. The girls were back home and changing for tonight's dinner. We were already dressed in slacks and button-down shirts. Alpha Troy is at the gates. Brandon, one of my guards, let me know. Showtime boys, I said, getting up. First guest is at the gate. Could you please come down to greet them with me, love? I reached out to Celeste. On my way, she answered. We headed out to the front of the pack house. Alpha Troy was a good man. We were distant allies. It would be a good start to the evening. Maya and Kelly came down first. Maya went straight to Danny's side and wrapped her arm around his. Danny's features instantly lighting up at her in her pretty sundress. Kelly stood next to Jillian in a blue silk shirt and black skirt. I looked back at the door, waiting for my Tulai. I finally saw her coming down the hall and I was mesmerized. She was wearing a white fitted shirt with loose sleeves down to her elbow, tucked into a red pencil skirt with big black buttons down the sides. She looked spectacular and I just wanted to grab her and take her back upstairs. She smiled at me as she approached me. As she passed, I saw Maya sniff the air before blushing at realizing she was sniffing. When Celeste joined my side, I wrapped my arm around her waist and turned around to welcome our guest. A faint smell of apples hit my nose, but I assumed it was coming from the kitchen. Probably what Maya was smelling. Atlas said. I didn't have time to respond as Alpha Troy got out of the car. Alpha Troy. Welcome to Crescent Moon. We're so glad you could come, I said. Thank you Alpha Markus, for hosting us. Maya. You look 100 times better than the last time I saw you, my dear. I see you've found your mate. I am glad for you both, he said. Thank you. It's good to see you again, Alpha Troy. Maya said, blushing as Danny held her closer. And Celeste, considering you were half dead last time I saw you, I'd say you look 1000 times better. Being a Luna suits you, my dear. Thank you Alpha Troy, I'm sorry you met me under those circumstances. I hope this meeting goes better, She chuckles and I can tell she's already enchanted the older man. Alpha Troy was approaching 40. Alpha Nicholas has arrived. Thank you, let him through. Alpha Nicholas is coming. Shall we wait before we head inside? We're only expecting council member Matthias today. The rest won't be arriving until tomorrow morning. Of course. Alpha Nicholas is an old friend of mine, he said, and he turned around and went back to the car. He gently retrieved his mate, who I knew to be a very shy woman. I was actually surprised to see her here. She usually didn't travel. Celeste, Maya, may I present my mate, Kiera? My dear, these are the two girls I told you about, and I'm sure you remember Daniel, Jillian, and his sister Kelly. We met them at Markus Alpha ceremony. Pleasure to meet you, Luna, Maya. Thank you for welcoming us into your home, she said quietly. The pleasure is mine. I believe I have Alpha Troy to thank for pushing for Maya and myself to be allowed to leave Blood Moon. You will always be welcomed in our pack, Celeste said, hugging her. Luna Kiera seemed shocked and stiff at being hugged, but then relaxed and returned the hug. Alpha Troy beamed at her. Alpha Nicholas arrived and after the introductions and pleasantries, we headed into the dining room. Once Councilman Matthias arrived, we sat down to eat. Nothing in the food tonight had apples, Atlas mentioned. Yeah, weird. Must be something in her makeup? I wondered. Must be. Smells nice with her honey and strawberry scent. We should ask her to wear it more often, he said, wagging his tail. It was true. The combination of her honey and strawberries scent with that touch of winter's night combined with crisp apple was amazing. Are you okay? Celeste mind-linked me. Councilman Matthias asked you a question. Sorry, Councilman, I didn't catch your question. Can you repeat it? I asked. I was wondering if you wanted to meet today or tomorrow about that private matter you mentioned over the phone. Oh yes, today if you're not too tired from your trip. I don't think I want to deal with unpleasantness tomorrow, I said, and he nodded. We were chatting amicably after dinner when another mind link interrupted. Alpha Markus, Alpha Jeff has arrived with his Luna, Beta, and daughter. We have the daughter in our banned list. How would you like me to proceed? I growled and the entire dining table looked at me startled. I got up. Please excuse me. I have to deal with an urgent matter. Celeste, would you please join me for a minute? I said, trying not to alarm everyone. Jillian moved a questioning eyebrow at me, and I shook my head slightly. We headed out of the dining room and I pulled out my phone. I have to make a call, but I need to know what you want to do before I do, I said, not wanting to actually say the words as I know this will ruin her night. What's the matter? She said. Alpha Jeff, his Luna, Beta, and Sandra have shown up unannounced. We had specifically told them they were to come for the ceremony only so that they could be put in front of the council when we presented our proof. I am not sure why they are here early. How would you like me to handle this? She sighed. Of course they would. Alpha Jeff likes to challenge orders as he believes to be above them. She thought for a second. I think we should consult with Maya as she was just as abused by them as I was, but I would imagine we just put them in one of the empty guests' suites. If we kick them out now, they might head back and take it out on the girls and they won't be here to face the council. I will link Maya, then you can make your call. I nodded to her. Maya came out shortly after. I was surprised that Danny hadn't followed. Danny didn't want to alarm the guests. I told him I'd just let him know what was happening, she explained. Maya, we are going to have to host Alpha Jeff, Luna Luisa, Beta Trevor, and Sandra. Will you be okay with them here? Maya paled slightly at the mention of the Beta, then she composed herself. Of course. I will be okay, Celeste. As long as they don't try anything, she said, and then her eyes sparkled mischievously. You know, Luna, while we have space to accommodate the Alpha and Luna, we don't have any additional guest rooms. We will need to place Sandra and Beta Trevor in the staff suites. The ones by the bathroom. Celeste and I laughed. Danny has corrupted you. I do love that idea though. I dialed the gate booth line. Let me speak with Alpha Jeff, I said. Alpha Markus, I heard the oaf grunt. Alpha Jeff, I'm surprised you arrived so early. Yes, well, my Luna doesn't like traveling so close to a party. You know how women are. We decided to get here early. Perhaps catch up with our old pack members. Make sure they are being treated right, he said mockingly. My eyes flashed black as Altus tried to take control. Well, I wish you would have checked with us first. I'm afraid Maya and Celeste will be quite busy with details tomorrow. It could have saved you a trip. No matter, we are here. Will you host us or should we find a hotel and hope there are vacancies? He growled. Well, that's the thing. We have a room for you and Luna Luisa, but we have all the other guest suites prepared for other alphas and their company that already RSVP'd. I'm afraid we will only be able to settle your beta and daughter in 2 of the staff rooms we can make available, I said casually. You expect my daughter to sleep in the staff's quarters? He screamed. I'm afraid that is all we have. If you're uncomfortable with that, we can always call the local inn to see if they could find you a room, and before you say anything, please remember we had agreed that your daughter was not to come into my pack grounds. We're doing this as a courtesy as tomorrow is the harvest full moon and there will be many people coming. She has a chance to find her mate and Celeste insisted she be given a chance to be as happy as we are. I winked at Celeste who tried not to giggle. Fine, tell your guard to let us in, he growled and handed the phone over. Let them in, I said. I cut off the phone and sighed. I led the girls back into the dining room. Pardon my absence. Alpha Jeff decided to arrive early and I needed the Luna and our Gamma female to help deal with the accommodations for the surprise arrival, I told them. Jillian's jaw dropped. Well, I believe that's my cue to retire to our room, Alpha Troy said. Luna Kiera is uncomfortable around the Alpha and Luna. He led an apologetic Luna out of the dining room. Don't apologize, Luna Kiera, no one could relate to those feelings more than those of us in this room. Please let me know if we can do anything to make your stay better, Celeste said, with a hug to the Luna to try to comfort her. I believe we will also excuse ourselves, Alpha Nicholas stated. Alpha Markus, can I wait for you in your office while you deal with the Alpha? I am having quite the lovely evening. I prefer not to have it ruined, he said. Of course. Kelly, would you please show him to our conference room? My office is currently undergoing some renovations. Kelly led the councilman away. I turned to my friends now. Well, let's get this unpleasantness out of the way, I said, and I took Celeste's hand in my own. Celeste POV. Alpha Jeff was here. A part of me had hoped to never see him again. I knew when we made the plan to take him down that I would, but I thought it would be only from a distance until we were in front of the council. Now here we are, welcoming them to stay under our same roof. I turned to look at Maya. In outward appearances she seemed strong and unfazed, though I had caught how she paled at the mention of Beta Trevor. I remember he had once promised her that the moment she turned 19, he would be the one to sample her first. I wondered if she was dealing with the same inner turmoil I was. I saw her take a closer step to Danny as I heard the SUV approaching. I want a guard on Maya at all times. Beta Trevor is not to get anywhere near her, I mind-linked Markus as I too, took a step closer to him. He looked down at me. Do I want to ask? When I didn't answer, he sighed, you will both have a guard at all times from now until everyone leaves. I am not taking any chances with them or anyone else that might think it wise to attack my future Luna. I've also assigned Kelly one. I squeezed his hand in response and took a steadying breath as the SUV came to a stop. The back door opened and out came our tormentors for the last 12 YRS. Alpha Markus, Alpha Jeff growled as he helped Luna Luisa get out of the car. Beta Trevor was helping Sandra on the other side of the vehicle. Alpha Jeff, welcome to Crescent Moon. I believe you have already met everyone but my Gamma Daniel here, Markus motioned to Danny, who just barely nodded. I knew he was having trouble not running up to punch the man. Will there be dinner? Luna Luisa asked out of the blue. I'm afraid you've missed dinner and the guests have all retired to their rooms for the night, but I can ask the cook to see if she can get something together for you. I said. Nonsense. Celeste, you will cook. You already know what we like, she said, eyeing me in my outfit. I saw Markus wanting to respond but I just squeezed his arm to stop him. I am not a cook anymore, Luna Luisa. I would appreciate you giving me some respect while staying under our roof, I replied back as civilly as I could muster, trying to keep the rage out of my voice. Markus just beamed with pride next to me. But, Sandra began and Alpha Jeff growled at her, shutting her up. She glared daggers at me. That is fine. Could you please direct us to our suites? It's been a long drive, he said. I called over one of the staff. Please show Alpha Jeff and Luna Luisa to the empty guest suite and then show Beta Trevor and Sandra to their rooms in the first floor, I said to her, mind-linking the specific places of where to put them. And don't let them push you around. If anything happens, come to us, I finished. She smiled at me gratefully and followed us in. The dining table is just to the left here at the entrance. Breakfast will be ready at 7 a.m. The cook is preparing some dinner for you as we speak. I will have someone deliver it to your rooms once it's ready. Please let one of my staff know if you need anything. We have some details to go over for tomorrow, so we will take our leave. For the time being, no one is allowed in the backyard where the ceremony will take place as they are still working on it, Markus told him. Come love, let's get this over with so we can head to bed, he said as we all headed to the conference room where Councilman Matthias was waiting. Thank you for waiting, Councilman Matthias, Markus began. That's quite all right. If we're being honest, I've been gathering some information on my own after your father reached out to me and I didn't quite trust myself to be diplomatic. He admitted. Trust me, we all know exactly how you feel, Markus sighed as he pulled me closer. What have you been able to find? I asked. Maybe we can combine it with what we have before we present it to the entire council. Not a lot, he admitted. I had one of my nephews who is good with technology to hack into their finances. It turns out that the pack should, in all aspects, be bankrupt. How they have the money to feed or pay utilities is beyond me. Their books state they are broke, but ever so often, there are large deposits in their account from offshore accounts. We can compare them to the dates on the photos we have of the transactions. These might be payments, Jillian said. We also have no record of Maya or Celeste in the pack registry. According to the council ledger, Maya and Celeste are deceased, he frowned. That will go a long way to them, but I did find one thing that concerned me about your investigation. What's that? Markus asked. I had my nephew send a drone to take some pictures. While we did see some punishments that I felt were a little excessive, we cannot interfere with how a pack disciplines its pack members unless there's proof of torture. But the pictures we took of the girls, while a bit underfed, did not corroborate what your report claims. The pictures from the exchanges don't really help either, they are from too far away. What do you mean? Danny asked. They were literally starved. Every girl I saw sold was skin and bones and some were beaten half to death. The pictures that we got back doesn't show that. Councilman Matthias pulled out a tablet and showed us. The girls definitely looked a lot better, and the council will be looking to see the girls themselves. I furrowed my eyebrows. That's not how they looked like when we left. Jillian suddenly cursed and we turned our attention to him. I've been giving the drive at the pack money to feed the girls. I never thought it would come back to bite us like this. Can you get the doctor to testify? The councilman asked. Maybe. But he would likely need assurances. He has a family. We don't need that. I said, sighing. I pulled out my phone. Maya, are you okay with me showing the pictures we took? Yes, if it's necessary. Whatever it takes, Celeste. Markus asked me. I had never shown him the pictures and I don't think he ever saw the extent of my body before I started gaining weight. When Maya and I got here, we took some pictures. But Markus, Danny, I need you two to sit down and promise me that you will not do anything rash. There's a reason I haven't shown these pictures. You need to promise that you will wait for the council to pass judgment. I am not promising anything until I see what you're hiding, Luna, Danny said, already getting worked up. Danny, you will accept her terms or you step outside, Maya said, moving to my side. We both knew what their reactions would be to the pictures. Celeste, you can't expect us to make a promise blindly, Markus said, crossing his arms. I can because I know you. In fact, Jillian and Kelly, you need to make the same promises or you can step outside. I folded my arms and looked at them. Kelly sat on a chair. Jillian sighed and sat. Danny and Markus were having a standoff with us. Danny, you could see, was having a private mind-link conversation with Maya, occasionally growling. He finally stomped over and sat on a chair and Maya went to sit on his lap. It was just me and Markus in a silent standoff. Atlas is trying to convince Markus, but if he's not stubborn, Karam mentioned. Markus, I pleaded with him. No Tulai, you can't expect me to say I will be fine with whatever you show me. You are my mate, I am allowed to be outraged. Outraged, yes. Throwing away months of work and risk the girls still stuck at the pack because you feel the need for revenge. No. I can't have you storming off to kill Alpha Jeff, it would ruin everything and I would lose you. I would prefer you see these today so you're prepared for when we show the council, but if you don't give me your word, you can wait and see them with the rest. Alpha Markus, she is right. There's more at stake than revenge. Think of all the girls she's trying to save, Councilman Matthias stated. Markus pushed his hand through his hair and went to sit on a chair. I turned and started to connect the phone to the TV. Jillian, I'm going to need you to restrain Markus, I mind-linked him. Celeste POV. I'm sorry, you need me to do what? Jillian asked. I could hear the panic in his voice. The pictures are not pretty. Atlas is helping Markus stay calm right now. That will change when Atlas sees the pictures too, I said. Yes, Luna, he said sadly. The phone connected and I went through the pictures until I found the ones I was looking for. I grabbed the remote to turn on the TV. These pictures were taken 3 days after we arrived at Crescent Moon. When I realized Alpha Jeff was selling my friends, I asked Maya to take some pictures of myself in case they could help free them and condemn Alpha Jeff. When I explained to Maya, she agreed to let me take pictures of her as well. Councilman Matthias, this is how every one of us looked before Jillian began helping my friends. I turned my back on Markus and my friends. I did not want to see the looks of outrage and pity. I turned on the TV and I heard Kelly and Councilman Matthias gasp. It was a side view of my body, every rib visible, my stomach or lack thereof indented inwards. The next picture was of my back. Every bone in my spine protruding and scars littered the back. My legs had very little muscle. The pictures of Maya were almost the same, except she had fared a little bit better than me in terms of scars and food. At the last pic, that showed my body from the front, the raised scars from Sandra's claws on my stomach still healing, I heard the cracking of bone. I turned around to find Markus shifting with Jillian on top of him. I ran to him. I wrapped my arms around him. It would force Atlas to stop shifting or he would hurt me. Jillian released him. The rest had stepped back, knowing the kind of rage Atlas was in, they didn't want to be accidentally on the receiving end of it. Let us shift, Tulai, Atlas growled, trying to push me away without hurting me with his claws. I looked up at him. He looked like he was in pain from stopping mid-shift, but there was so much anger in his eyes. I just pushed my head into his chest and cried. Please, Atlas, it's not worth it. You already saved me, you saved Maya. Help me save the rest, I told him. I could hear Kelly crying behind me and Jillian was now restraining Danny as Maya tried to calm him down. He was also mid-shift. Markus and Atlas were breathing so heavily. I moved my hand to their half-covered fur back and ran small circles, hoping the bond sparks would calm him. Eventually, it seemed he did calm down because I felt his arms wrap around me and his face dip into my neck, kissing my cheek. I'm sorry, he said, and I felt the dampness on my neck. It is not your fault. You are the reason why those are but a memory now. I am sorry you had to see them. This nightmare is almost over for all of us, thanks to you. Councilman Matthias cleared his throat. I pulled from Markus but he wouldn't let me go. Instead, he allowed me to twist in his arms so we were both facing the councilman. I am sorry this happened to you and your people under our watch. Please add these to your presentation tomorrow. I can safely say, they will not leave this place free wolves. Thank you, Councilman. May I ask, what will happen to the girls once Alpha Jeff is under arrest? I said. We will look to see if any of them have any family in other packs that will want to take them in. Any we aren't able to place, will need a place to stay. I would like them to come here, with me. To our pack. As the last remaining ranked member of Sky Moon Pack, they are my responsibility. We can house them, provide the health measures they need as well as therapy and education. They would be full members of our pack, I said, and I could feel Markus' pride through the bond. I believe that request will be granted. As someone who's gone through it yourself, I believe you and Maya will be the most qualified people to know what their needs are. Now I must take my leave. It was a long flight here and I would like try to rest. Tomorrow will be a happy day, but it will be followed by a long one, he said as he made his way to the doors. Councilman Matthias. Markus said. Yes, Alpha Markus. I would like us, he motioned to the group, to be the ones to retrieve the girls. They will find it easier to trust us with Celeste and Maya. That is an excellent idea. They can also remain here while we conduct the investigation to see if any of them have relatives in other packs. Good night, he said and left. The moment he left, I heard something hit wood. I turned around to see Danny had punched a hole in the conference table. He was visibly shaking with anger and rage. I need some air. He growled and left. Maya tried to follow him but Markus stopped her. I'll follow him and talk to him. Go rest, you have a big day tomorrow, he said. He turned and gave me a kiss on the forehead. I'll be up in a while. Atlas also needs a run, he told me and I nodded. I went to Maya to lead her out and suddenly we were engulfed in giant hug. Kelly was bawling as she tried to murder us with her affection. I'm sorry, I knew you were mistreated but I didn't know how badly. I turned to look at Jillian and he had a mixed face of amusement and restrained pain, like he was stopping himself from doing something and it was physically hurting him. I rolled my eyes and motioned for him to join us. He grinned and embraced all three of us. All right, let's get to bed, I told them. The stylist is coming tomorrow and we all need out beauty sleep. Will this take long? I asked Markus. I would count on it. He's pretty broken. I will take Maya with me to our bedroom. He can carry her down when you are both back, I told him. Okay. I love you, he said before he cut the mind link. I stepped outside the conference room to find two guards waiting for us. Maya, you're coming up with me. Danny will get you when they are back. She nodded and sniffled a little. None of that. He will be fine, he probably just needs to punch something for a while. We can't have puffy eyes in the morning or Kelly will kill us, I said and that got a small laugh out of her. We slept in the bed together until I felt Markus' arms move my arms around Maya. I felt her body lift as I struggled to open my eyes. Danny gave me an apologetic look and I nodded to him as he left. Markus closed the door behind them and crawled into bed with me. "What time is it?" I asked, yawning and curling up into him. "Around 2 am," he said. "Are you guys all right?" I said. He was quiet for a little bit, then he kissed the top of my head. "Yes, we will be. 2 days from now will make it easier to know what you've gone through." "I love you," I told him. "I love you more," he said, and we started falling asleep. "I like your new lotion. Makes you smell like apples," he mumbled in his sleep as I drifted off myself. Markus POV. It took Dash and Atlas a few deer and black bear kills to get their rage under control. A few times, I had to steer Danny and Dash from turning around towards the pack house. I knew it hit him harder. As bad as the pictures had been of Celeste, I'd actually seen her before she was healthy. Danny met Maya when she had already been cleared to shift. He never saw her before that. It took a lot of talking down before I managed to calm him. We bathed in the river's cold water before coming back to the pack house. He gently picked up Maya from Celeste's arms and headed back to their floor. I woke up early the next morning to someone banging on the door. "Alpha, Luna. You both need to get up. We are having breakfast on time for once because the hairstylist is coming in promptly at 1 p.m. We have a packed schedule and everything has to go right. You have 2 minutes to open this door, before I break it down," she yelled through the closed door. "Can we just banish her?" Celeste mumbled and I laughed. "Jillian would probably hurt us if we tried," I said, leaning over and kissing her on the lips. Her arms instantly wrapped around my neck and she deepened the kiss. I started to move on top of her when I heard another knock on the door. "1 min. Unless you're not very gifted, Alpha, you don't have time to do what I heard you growling to do. Maybe we just banish both of them," I said as I pressed my forehead to hers before moving off the bed and going to open the door. "Good morning, Kelly," I said. "Good morning, Alpha, we need to go have breakfast with the guests. Mom has put me in charge of shoving both of you along so you're both ready in time. She's handling Maya and Danny. Then we will switch at 3 so Maya, Luna, and I can get ready and you and Danny and Jillian will get ready under Mom's watchful eye," she said as she went into the walk-in closet and grabbed some clothes for us to wear for the day. She had already picked for us. I rolled my eyes as I took them and headed to the bathroom to change. "Wait. I have to pee," Celeste yelled, and tried to beat me to the bathroom. I laughed and went into the walk-in to change. Once I changed, I came out of the closet, waiting until she came out to brush my teeth and make sure I was presentable. I heard a weird noise in the bathroom before it opened. "Are you okay?" I asked. "Yes, it's just nerves," she smiled as she went to sit on the bed to wait for me. 3 minutes, Alpha. The cook just linked me. "Your food is ready," Kelly said and I rolled my eyes. Again. Today was going to be a long day if Kelly took her duties so seriously, which it seemed like she did. I loved this girl like a sister, but I just wanted to make Celeste my Luna, get Alpha Jeff arrested, go rescue the girls and then forget about the world in this room with Celeste. That wasn't too much to ask of a morning, was it? Maybe we can take her on a trip after? Atlas said, wagging his tail. Don't humans call it a honeymoon? Yes, I like that idea. We'll talk to Jillian later about arranging it, I said. We headed back down to breakfast. Celeste was wearing a turquoise silk shell top with a light, black cardigan, blue trousers, and some low-heeled black pumps. She looked stunning as always. Her curls cascading down her back in a ponytail. We welcomed the arriving Alphas and Lunas and went in for breakfast. Some remembered her from when we were at Blood Moon and commented on how beautiful and healthy she looked now. We ate breakfast and I noticed Sandra kept glaring daggers at her and Maya. It seemed she finally realized that they had both been mated to ranked members while she was not only still mateless, but more than likely mated to someone without rank. I saw her keep eyeing Jillian and Kelly sitting together. She was trying to figure out if they were together. Sandra is IU, I mind-linked him. Yes, I noticed. I hope some unmated alphas show up soon so her attention can go somewhere else, because if she tries to flirt with me, I might just throw up my breakfast all over her hair, he said, and I almost choked on my toast laughing. My face heated as a few amused heads turned my way as I tried to clear the blockage with coughs. We spent the rest of the morning welcoming and settling in the alphas and their people as they arrived. Celeste and Maya were getting pulled one way and another. Kelly kept flitting in and out the backyard to ask questions or dealing with something or other relating to the ceremony. Each was always discreetly followed by one of their guards. They were smart enough to keep rotating between the four of them so that it went unnoticed by the guests. I was a little concerned over the fact that Beta Trevor and Sandra couldn't take their eyes off Celeste and Maya. Every time they came into view of the sitting room, they zeroed in on the girls. I was talking with one of the alphas halfway through the morning when Maya came in through the sitting room and towards the kitchen, seemingly alone, when I saw Beta Trevor get up and follow her out. Maya, kitchen. Go now, I mind-linked Danny, who quickly excused himself and dashed to the kitchen. I heard a few raised voices and then Beta Trevor came back to the area they had occupied, his jaw tight. Good looking out. Now I'm going to go figure out where the guards are. Check on Celeste and Kelly, he said. Tulai, are you okay? I asked, nervous and angry that Maya was not with a guard when I specifically told them they were not to be alone. Ever. Yes. Is everything okay? I'm with Luna Kiera. She seems to be avoiding the other alphas, she said. Is one of the guards near you? Yes, Gabriel is. I think Luna Kiera might benefit from having one. It seems when she became Luna, it was not pleasantly received and she's still afraid of them, she said. I will make sure one is assigned to her so she feels safer. Make sure you're always followed by one. I don't trust your old beta. I love you. Come sit with me when you have a chance. I love you more, she said, and we ended the mind link. Kelly, are you okay? Do you have a guard near you? I asked. Yes, Alpha. He's currently helping me hang some decorations that fell with the wind last night. Is everything okay? Yes, just checking in, I said and cut off the mind link. Celeste and Kelly are both with guards. Did you figure out what happened? I asked Danny. Yes, he growled. Maya sent him away to get more wine from the cellar. She is a little shaken up that Beta Trevor would try to get her alone. He had promised to take her once she turned of age, and now I'm just trying to get her to calm down and me before I go in there and beat out of the man. Just a few more hours, brother, I'm counting the minutes, he half laughed. Alpha, the rest of the council has arrived together. One of my gate guards mind-linked. Thank you, let them through. I said. The council is here. I mind-linked Kelly, Dad, Gillen, Celeste, Danny, and Maya at once. The rest of the council has arrived. You're welcome to join us outside as we welcome them, I told the room. Most followed behind us, Sandra falling in step with Jillian as he passed and trying to get a conversation going, but Kelly came up and wrapped her arm through his and led him away. Sandra glared at their backs. I looked at Kelly as they fell in step with us as Celeste, Maya, and Danny joined the group. My father behind them with Marie. She winked at me and I smirked. Councilman, welcome to Crescent Moon Pack. We are honored you accepted our invitation to see my mate become my Luna, I said as they started coming up the steps. Alpha Markus, how could we miss such a momentous occasion? The Crescent Moon Pack has been without a Luna for far too long, one of them said. And with all due respect, may I add that she is truly a rare beauty, Councilman John said. He was my least favorite of the bunch, and the way he eyed Celeste had Atlas stirring in anger under my skin. I felt Celeste shift uncomfortably next to me, getting just a little closer to me. Selene has definitely been kind to me, Councilman John, I said through gritted teeth. Well, shall we go inside? I believe we are still in time for lunch and I'm afraid we haven't had the chance. One of the councilmen broke the tension, sending a small glare at Councilman John. Of course. We're still missing a couple of alphas. I am at your service for anything you may need. Celeste has arranged your suites and every staff member here should be able to help you find it. Lunch is at noon, and I'm afraid at 2, we will have to take our leave to be ready for the ceremony which starts at 5 p.m., I told them as we walked back into the dining room. The alphas and the councilmen were using this opportunity to talk some business. Lunch was fairly informal, small groups littering the common areas. I noticed people only stopped briefly to talk to Alpha Jeff. Only a few seemed to linger for more than a couple of minutes. I was taking notice of everyone that did so I could be sure to look to see if there were any issues from those packs. Alpha, it's time. Jillian's mom approached me with Danny and Jillian on her toes. Go, son, Alpha Red and I will keep down the fort for you. Dad said. I nodded as I watched Kelly, Maya, and Celeste being followed by all 4 guards. See you soon Tulai, we should just run away together. There's too many people here, she said, and I laughed through the link. I want everyone to see that I'm the luckiest wolf alive to have you by my side, I said. You sure know how to take the fight out of a girl, she laughed. I will see you in 3HRS. I love you. Love you more. I said as we headed to Jillian's floor to get ready. Celeste POV. Kelly, can we be done? I need to pee. I said. Fine, go pee, but we're not done, she said, and one of the girls working on my hair let me up. Kelly had decided she wanted my hair straightened for this, and 2 of the hairstylists had been tackling a side of my hair each. We were about an hour in and they still needed to do about a third of my hair. Naturally curly, my hair reached my legs, but the hair they had managed to straighten went past my knees. Kelly had opted for doing her own makeup in order to get her stylist to help with Maya's hair. My makeup was being done by a third, who would then do Kelly's hair. Kelly had said she didn't matter as she wasn't in the ceremony, but I had a gut feeling she'd find her mate tonight and I insisted she get it done too. 30 minutes later, I was finally deemed ready for the ceremony and the girls were working on Kelly. I went into the walk-in closet and slipped on the dress. When I came out, I finally grabbed the letter from the dresser and sat down on the bed to read. Celeste, my little piece of sky, the day you were born, I had a vision. This isn't normally my power, but I believe Selene allowed me to tap into yours. I saw your Luna ceremony. I saw the beautiful, strong Luna you will become. I am so proud of you, my daughter. As I watch you grow, I see glimmers of the woman you are. I also saw that your father and I were not at the ceremony. Only one thing could have kept us away. I am sorry that you will lose us. I hope you know we would have done anything to have been there. Stay safe, trust your mate. He looks like a good man. I know the future ahead is going to have some rough moments, but you can overcome anything. Find your allies. I know you can put an end to what has plagued our bloodline for so many generations. I hope this day is everything you hope for. Know that your father and I are and always will be proud to be your parents. You can always find us in the wind and in your heart. Give them little one. Love, Mom. Celeste? What's wrong? Maya asked. I blinked several times, making sure I didn't cry and my eyes stopped glowing. Maya and Kelly were looking at me concerned. Nothing is wrong. Just reading a letter my mother left me with the dress, I said. I felt Markus pull on the mind link. I am fine, love. Just emotional today, I told him. Do you need a moment? We only have a few minutes. I can ask Mom to wait, Kelly asked, and I shook my head. I put the letter on my nightstand and put my nude wedges on. I don't need to wait to become Markus Luna, I said. Maya smiled and hugged me. I'm going crazy waiting to see you Tulai, Markus' voice filled my head. Just a little while longer, I said. Luna, Maya, it's time. Mom's ready for us. Kelly said. Maya wrung her hands nervously. I put my arm around her shoulders. Danny's jaw will drop when he sees you, I said. She looked beautiful. They had gathered her hair upwards with a delicate band around the crown of her head, her bangs flowing down the side of her face. I had opted to let her borrow the amber jewelry I had picked up from the deposit box. It just looked right with her dress. Her makeup was a smoky yellow and orange umber with nude lips. Kelly's hair was elegantly swept to the side. She had applied metallic green with black eyeshadow that almost looked like a masterful shimmery oil spill. Her bright red lips and dress made her look like she was headed to a red carpet event. I had a gold and black umber eyeshadow and maroon lips. It complemented my tan skin and dress. When the light hit me just right, I looked like I was on fire. We headed down to the first floor where Mrs. Quinn was waiting for us. She smiled and teared up when she saw us. You look like angels. Gorgeous angels, she cooed, then she giggled, the boys are going to lose them. We laughed at her choice of words and then she got right down to business. We have about 2 hours before the sun sets and the moon begins to peak. We have a wall temporarily set up on the right side so you can take your place behind the stage area. We don't want anyone seeing you before the ceremony. Maya and Danny will be called up first. Luna, you will be allowed to watch from the side of the stage. Markus will be on the other side of it so he can't peek. Is it really necessary to be separated that long? Why can't we just watch together? I asked. I hated being away from Markus for so long. It gave me an upset stomach. It's tradition, she insisted. I sighed and nodded. Once the Gamma Oath is completed by Councilman Matthias, Maya, you and Danny have seats in the front row. We will call you up Celeste, and you can take your oath as Luna. Shortly after that, we will get ready for the full moon run and there will be dinner after. I'm so proud of you girls and Kelly dear, you look amazing, she said, hugging her daughter. Thanks Mom, she said brightly and headed out to the seating area. We followed Mrs. Quinn to the stage area. I could barely see the stage from where I was but Mrs. Quinn wasn't budging. Councilman Matthias stood up and called Maya and Danny up. Maya and Danny performed their oaths to each other and the entire pack cheered. I was cheering with the rest of them, trying not to tear up because I knew Kelly would have some words for me if I messed up my makeup. Finally, Councilman Matthias called us up. I went up the steps and saw him. He was the most handsome man in the world to me, and he was all mine. He was wearing a black Armani suit. It looked like it was made for him and come to think of it, it probably was. He had a maroon undershirt and matching handkerchief and tie. He looked like a god and he smiled so big when he saw me. I was mesmerized. His eyes turned black, before one of them went back to grey. Atlas and Markus, our mates, were both present. I let Kara push forward with me. Meeting our mate in the middle of the platform. Hello mates, Atlas and Markus said. Hello mates, I said and closed the distance, still having to stand on my tippy toes to kiss him even with the heels. Ahem, the kiss comes after the oath, Councilman Matthias said and the crowd laughed as we broke apart. Markus POV. I had seen the dress on the hanger for the last 3 days. In fact, Kelly had even brought it in when I was being measured for my suit. She wanted to make sure it matched the colors, but I had never expected it to look like that on her body. I was absolutely stupefied. Atlas was the one making us walk to our mate. I could barely speak as I saw her coming up the stairs and to the stage. All I could do was grin like a crazy. The dress was a halter top with a slit coming down the middle between her magnificent chest all the way down to her navel. There was a wrap coming out from the collar that wrapped around the backless dress into a V. The entire dress fit her like a second skin and was covered in a few different shades of maroon beading. Starting at the navel, there were curtains of white beading in an upside-down V going all the way down to the end of the dress. Her usual black curls had been straightened down. Her hair like a veil reaching down past her knees. Her makeup against her dark olive skin made her look like a seductress. All I wanted to do as Atlas led us to the center of the stage was throw her over my shoulder and take her away from every male's hungry eyes. I smiled when I saw that she had let Kara forward with her. I didn't know she could do that on command, but I should stop being surprised. When she closed the distance and kissed me, I felt like the luckiest wolf in the world. There was not an ounce of shame as Councilman Matthias made a joke about the kiss. Celeste took a step back, grinning up at me. Now, let's begin. A Luna ceremony is one of our most sacred traditions. It's an introduction the Alpha makes to his pack to present his mate, but it is also a promise the Luna makes to put her pack above everything else. She commits to her pack, its people, and its future. He passed a silver dagger to me and held a chalice out. I cut a slit on the palm of my hand and made a fist, allowing the blood to drip down into the cup. I, Alpha Markus David Salonen of the Crescent Moon Pack, accept you, Celeste, as my destined mate and Luna. I promise to protect and cherish you as my Luna, my mate, my partner. I will share with you my life, my pack, my heart. I vow to protect you with my heart, my claws and my life, I said, and I saw her eyes water. Don't cry. You'll make Kelly mad, I said to her as I handed her the knife. She laughed a little, then looked me in the eye and took a steadying breath. We had rehearsed how she would do this part. I, Celeste Aurora della Rosa, daughter of the late Alpha Cori and Luna Bella della Rosa of the Sky Moon Pack, accept you, Markus, as my destined mate. My Alpha. There were a few gasps and whisperings, and I could see from the corner of my eyes how Luna Luisa's and Alpha Jeff_'s eyes narrowed in anger. I accept my position as your Luna, promising to put their well-being first, caring for our pack from the smallest pup to the oldest wolf. I will share with you my life and my heart. I trust you with both. I take into my heart the pack you've chosen to share with me. I promise to love them and cherish them as the family they have already become. She cut a slit in her hand and let the blood drip into the chalice. Councilman Matthias brought the cup over to me and I took a sip, then he passed her the cup. The moment she took a sip, I felt her position as Luna snap into place. I could hear my people welcome their new Luna over the link. I present to you, Luna Celeste della Rosa of the Crescent Moon Pack, Councilman Matthias said, and as our people howled, I felt a current of wind surrounding us both. Mom, I heard Celeste and Kara whisper as her hair floated in the wind. Now you may kiss her, Alpha Markus, Councilman Matthias said. I grinned and brought her to me, wrapping her up in my arms and pouring all of my love into the kiss. Once we separated, I turned to the crowd. I could see the moon about to peek out of the clouds. I would like to thank everyone that could make it. We have a little bit of a twist to our celebration. As you may see, there are stuffed animals on the tables. Celeste and Maya hold children very dear in their hearts, so we have decided to share this night with them. Please hand out toys you see around the tables and decorations to the children. Lunas and Alphas, there are toy containers at the end of the tables. Please feel free to give them out to the children running about. While most of the children here are with their families, we also have in attendance the children from the orphanage. They are well taken care of, but there's no such thing as enough love for those that have lost their loved ones. I encourage you to get to know them. Now, we have provided some makeshift changing rooms to the side here with tear-away clothes for those of you that do not wish to change in front of others. Once we return, we will have dinner and I was suddenly interrupted by several heads sniffing the air and a bigger number of minds all throughout the crowd. One in particular stood out from the rest. Alpha Red had run straight in front of Kelly and roared, "Mate!" I smiled at Celeste, who looked like she wanted to jump for joy to see them mated. Once the noise had settled, I said, as I was saying before, our blessed moon goddess Selene decided to make an entrance a minute early. I chuckled at my own joke, making everyone else laugh with me. Once we return, we will have dinner and celebrate not just our new Luna, but the many pairings that Selene has blessed our packs with. Also, I'd like to be the first to break the news that Alpha is officially out of the singles market and has been mated with our own beta female, Kelly Quinn. I finished. Alpha seemed surprised that I would share the attention with him, but quickly recovered and howled at the moon with joy. Now let /s get ready for the Harvest Moon run. Please meet me at the clearing in 5 minutes, I said, and everyone started to move about, removing clothes and putting on the tear-away clothes. Because we had so many high-ranking members, we had decided to provide tear-away clothes to avoid any potential problems. Celeste grabbed my hand and led me off the platform to a set of tear-away clothes waiting for us. We changed out of our clothes and put them in a basket under the platform. We had been told by Mrs. Quinn that it was put there for our clothes. We made our way to the clearing we had for the runs. Celeste and I stood at the front, with many Alpha and Lunas and councilmen at the far left. Jillian, Danny, and Maya to my immediate left and my father and Marie to my right. Shift, I shouted, not using my Alpha command as that would be considered a challenge to the visiting pack leaders. Celeste and I shifted to our wolves and howled at the moon, signaling the beginning of the run as we took off at the head of the crowd. We ran through the forest. I could feel the joy of my pack at running under the moon goddess light and their joy at following behind their Luna. I sat back and enjoyed Kara and Atlas leading our people around the property. Markus POV. We made our way back and retrieved our clothes before we shifted. I wasn't going to be wearing the jacket of my suit or the tie for the rest of the evening. I put on my shirt and I was buttoning it up when Celeste pulled me down by the shirt and crashed her lips into mine, making me stumble into her, and I had to grab her to stop us from going to the floor. I quickly crushed her body to mine and growled as I pushed her to the back of the stage. My hands went to her as I lifted her to me. She couldn't wrap her legs around me as her dress didn't allow her that much movement. I couldn't get enough of her. If this dress was not a gift from her mother, I would rip it off and take her. Markus, we can't start eating without you or our Luna, so don't be thinking you can play hooky, Jillian teased over the mind link. I groaned and pulled away from Celeste. I want nothing more than to make sweet love to you, but I've just been advised we can't play hooky to our own celebration dinner, I told Celeste as I pulled away, trying to adjust my clothes. Celeste giggled and blushed and then turned around, sweeping her long hair over her shoulders for me to pull up the zipper that went down her. I pulled it up slowly, letting my fingertips brush up against her skin. I felt her shiver. I grabbed her by the waist and led her to the table. I noticed Kelly sitting next to Rhett looking like they were in their own little world. Enjoy the party, they will be with us the rest of the night, I told my warriors who were still standing near the girls. Thank you, Alpha, they responded and went to join their families and friends in the celebration. I switched my attention back to my little seductress. You didn't tell me Kelly would be Alpha Red's mate, I scolded my Tulai. She laughed, I didn't know it would be her. Selene just told me all of our close friends and allies would find their mates. That the mate bond will make them strong and happy. That this will help us in the struggles ahead. Wait, does that mean that Jillian will find his soon too? I asked, excited for him. I know even though he put on a good face, he wanted nothing more than to find his mate. Yes, she said mischievously, but didn't elaborate. Tulai, do you know who Jillian's mate is? I asked. She shook her head as one of the children from the orphanage came over and gave her a red wildflower that must have been on one of the teddy bears and put it in behind her ear. All she gave me was a hint and I'm not sharing, she told me as she bent and gave the little boy a kiss. She looked back up at me and smiled. Keep smiling like that and I'm going to say the rules and take you upstairs, I said, and she blushed, but before she could respond, they began serving our food. We were all chatting amicably, except for the Blood Moon pack. They were mostly by themselves near the end of the table. Sandra, however, was flirting with every possible member of the table that didn't have a mate. Even the kids avoided their area of the table as they ran around with their toys, playing together and playing with a few Lunas. I looked over at Celeste. She was eating with a lot of energy, practically wolfing down her food as she chatted amicably with Alpha Troy and Luna Kiera, who looked a little more relaxed as she played with a 4-year-old little boy who had lost his parents in an attack a couple of years ago. I made conversation with a few of the alphas. A couple of Lunas even noticed the decorations and mentioned how novel of an idea it was to use all natural decorations for the harvest moon. I mentioned the fact that the food was to be donated to a local food bank and a couple of them complimented us on such a creative idea. It wasn't until the party was thinning out that I requested all of the alphas for a meeting tomorrow morning to discuss some matters before they left back to their packs. The councilman already knew that I had requested a meeting before coming. I saw the Blood Moon pack all make their way out of the party and towards the alpha's suite. I mind-linked one of the warriors to keep an eye on their actions. If they tried to leave before the meeting tomorrow, I would need to move the meeting to tonight, so I was to be informed if they tried to leave. I grabbed Celeste and led her to the dancing floor as a slow song began. I wrapped my arms around her waist and danced in place. Even after 2 months, I still couldn't believe she was mine, and now the whole world knew it. I led her back to the table and we started to chat with a few people. I was in the middle of a conversation with Alpha Nicholas when I felt Celeste's arm on mine and she whispered that she would be going to the bathroom. A couple of minutes later, I felt Atlas suddenly start pacing in my head, growling lowly. "What's going on with you?" I asked. "I don't know. I can't link Kara. It is like she's gone to sleep. I don't like this, Markus, go check on mate," he said. I instantly looked to my left and noticed that Celeste still wasn't back from the bathroom. Both Maya and Kelly were still at the table, so she hadn't taken anyone with her. I tried to link her but I couldn't connect. I rose, starting to feel panic. I excused myself and almost ran towards the bathroom. She wasn't in the guest bathroom, but there was a long line. If she needed to go, she would have gone up to use our bathroom or go use the staff bathrooms. I hurried towards the staff bathrooms first. I could smell her down the hallway along with a sour scent around the bathroom area. I pushed the door open to find all of the toiletries from the sink on the floor. There had been a struggle. I let Atlas forward so that we could share his enhanced senses. I went back out of the bathroom and sniffed. Atlas growled as we recognized the sour smell to be wolfsbane. Celeste's smell went a bit past the bathroom. We walked 3 steps and kicked the door open. There were 2 smells here, Celeste and someone else. I looked around the items in the room to realize what was happening. I went to the open window to see one of Celeste's shoes right below it. I opened a mind link to the entire pack. The Luna has been taken. Spread out and find her. She was taken a few minutes out from the right side of the pack house. They cannot have gone far. Find and bring our Luna home. I heard the howls from inside and outside the pack house as my pack began to search for their Luna. I opened a mind link to Jillian, Danny, and a couple of guards. Jillian, inform the Alphas and Council that Celeste is missing. She was taken out of Sandra's room. Guards detain anyone from the Blood Moon pack. Yes, Alpha, they all said as I made my way to the Alpha suites. I was climbing the stairs two at a time when I felt someone pulling at my mind link. Yes. I growled. Alpha, we have to find the Luna, Drive West said. I paused. That's what I'm trying to do, I growled back. This was a waste of time. I cut the mind link but then immediately felt Drive West pulling for a mind link again. What, I yelled. Alpha Markus, I got the results this morning of the full blood panel we took from the Luna. She was 1.5 weeks pregnant when we took the blood sample. She and Kara won't be able to feel the pup until 3 weeks. We need to find her before she gets hurt, Drive West hurried to tell me. Atlas and I roared so loudly, I felt the stairs shake. He pushed forward and jumped up, landing over the guardrail of the 3rd floor. He went straight to where Alpha Jeff was arguing with the guards. I grabbed Alpha Jeff by the throat and lifted him up as Atlas allowed me to take over. He would kill him before we got any information out of him. Where is she? I roared. Luna Luisa screamed and Beta Trevor tried to pull me off Alpha Jeff, but my guards restrained him. Where is Celeste? I yelled. I saw him starting to go red and released his throat but still held him against the wall. How would I know where your Luna is? He growled while taking deep breaths. I saw and heard Jillian and the others arrive but the only thing that mattered was Celeste. Your daughter took my mate. There's the stench of wolfsbane where the struggle took place. I followed her scent to your daughter's room. Your daughter used wolfsbane on my pregnant mate, I roared at him and I heard growls from behind me at the news. Where is your daughter? I saw Alpha Jeff's eye try to glaze over but not long enough for him to have actually talked to anyone. He paled slightly and then looked at her Luna. What did your daughter do? Where is she? I told you we should have taken her back when she ran off yesterday to find her, he growled at her. His words didn't escape me and I roared again. She had tried to come after Celeste yesterday already. Luna Luisa also appeared to attempt to mind link her daughter and started panicking when she didn't get through. I won't ask again. Where did your daughter take my mate? Atlas and my voice roared together. Alpha, I caught her scent. They are headed into the forest towards the river. Danny's mind link came through. Hold them in the dungeons where her cousin is kept. Next to Levi. Daniel caught her scent, I said as I jumped out the window, tearing my suit as I shifted. I had to find her. If anything happened to her or our pup, Atlas, and I would tear the entire world apart, and we would start with Alpha Jeff. Celeste POV. I groaned. My feet hurt, it felt like someone had taken sandpaper and rubbed them raw. I felt weak and my whole body felt like I was on fire. I tried to stand up but my hands were tied together with silver cuffs. My shoes were missing and the back of my feet did indeed look like they had been rubbed raw. I tried to stand up but was so nauseated that I fell back down and threw up. Oh, finally awake. It was only a little wolfsbane. I had to drag you all the way out here myself, I heard a voice say from behind me. I turned to see Sandra waving a gun around. I frowned. A gun would hurt me, but it was nothing I couldn't survive. As if reading my mind, she said, I wouldn't think about running, the gun is full of silver bullets. She pointed the gun at me. I tried to mind link but the silver cuffs were preventing me from doing it. The wolfsbane was preventing me from talking to Kara, but I could feel her whimpering while she tried to heal my stomach. I looked down. I couldn't see any wound there. My mate is going to tear you to pieces if he finds out what you're doing, Sandra, I said, trying to reason with her. I could hear howling from a distance. I couldn't tell how much time had passed since she jumped me in the bathroom, but I knew they were already looking for me. Your mate? Your mate? He should have been my mate. She growled at me, why do you get an alpha mate? I'm the alpha female. You're just a slave. The goddess made a mistake. She must have. Alpha Markus was supposed to be mine, she growled as she waved the gun at me. You might still find your mate. Maybe he just wasn't able to attend your party. I was trying to buy some time. She looked pretty deranged. I looked at my surroundings and I could tell we weren't even off the pack grounds. She really didn't think it through, but maybe that was a good thing for me. She growled and shot at the ground in front of me. I found my mate. He was a lowly servant from another pack. I killed him the moment I knew. I am of alpha blood, I do not have a common mate. She looked behind me and I saw the body of a young man a couple 100 yards away looking up at the moon. A large pool of blood stained his chest. She killed her own mate? How could someone be so greedy that they would kill half of their soul because they wanted an alpha? No, I will not have a common mate. I will kill you. Then when Markus finds your body, I'll tell him I got here too late and I killed the man that murdered his mate. While he grieves, I will make sure that he takes me as his chosen mate. The way it should have been from the start. I tried to do it before the ceremony, hoping it would be me instead of you, but you were never alone in the mall. That stupid giant warrior was always with you. No matter, we can have another one. A better one, she said, and I realized she was just demented. Markus will never take you as his mate, I said calmly. Yes, he will. She said as she hit me with the gun across the face. I felt the stinging of her hit and I tasted blood in my mouth. I growled and charged into her. Wolf present or not, I was no longer the same Omega she had picked on and beat for 12 years. I struggled as I rolled off her. These cuffs were making things hard. I used my burning feet to kick the gun out of her hand. Thank God for the slit in the dress. She grabbed my foot and I screamed in pain as her claws dug into my legs as I fell forward. She tried to scratch my face and I put my feet under her and pushed her off. She shrieked and picked up a branch off the ground and charged, but I moved out of her way as she swung and fell forward. I could hear the growls growing near and I screamed, I'm over here towards the forest. I didn't realize how much that distraction cost me until I turned back in time to hear the gun go off. It was like it happened in slow motion. I saw the bullet leave the gun and I released a stream of fire toward Sandra. Before the bullet could hit, I felt something barrel into me. I landed on the floor with a thud and I heard a whine come out of the dark brindle wolf that landed next to me. I heard a loud scream from the distance. Sandra was shrieking in front of me, her body on fire. I heard more wolves approaching but all I could see was Dash receding from the silver and leaving Danny's face as he transformed in pain. He was breathing shallow. I pushed him to his back and saw the bullet wound on his side, very close to his lungs. I didn't know how to get the silver out of him. I didn't know how to help him. I just put my hand over his wound and cried. No, 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 Danny, no. Please, not you. Danny, hang in there. Somebody help. I screamed. Celeste, it's okay, he wheezed out with a cough. No, you fight. Maya needs you. We need you. You fight, I said using my Luna command as he started losing consciousness. I felt Kara through the silver cuffs push forward, flowing strength through me and I broke the silver cuffs off my hands. As soon as I did, I felt Kara push forward. Get the pack doctor here now, she screamed through the mind link. Kara, we have to heal him. I told her. I don't know if we can, Celeste. Only Selene decides who we can heal. She whimpered. We have to. We can't take him from Maya. I sobbed. Okay. You start praying to the moon goddess. Maybe she will let us. This is going to take a lot. We need our mate. She said. Markus. I need you. Help me help Danny, I said through the mind link. I'm right here, baby. What do you need? Tell me. He said behind me. I turned and briefly saw a bunch of our warriors holding a half-burned and soaking wet Sandra, dragging her out of the river. I need to heal him, but Kara said it's going to take a lot of energy, just help us. Hold us. We have to get the silver out. I turned back to Danny, who was unconscious now. His heart barely beating. I put my hands over his wound and started praying. Please, Selene, don't take him from Maya. Please don't let him die protecting me. I repeated over and over. I ignored the cry of anguish coming from Maya as she arrived and saw her mate. I ignored Markus barking for Jillian to restrain her and Maya growling to get to Danny. I even ignored as Markus told everyone to leave, as I felt my hands begin to glow. I sobbed a thanks to Selene and felt Kara and I pouring everything we could into Danny. I opened my eyes as I felt my body lift. Danny and I were both floating about a foot off the floor, Markus's hands on top of ours as he also began to glow and I realized we were pulling from his strength. I saw as Danny groaned as the bullet slid out of his wound and fell to the floor. There was a small drip of silver coming out of his wound as we pulled all the poison out of his system. The stream hissed as it burned his flesh on the way out. I could almost see in my mind how his body was slowly healing. I heard him cough and groan and then I heard Atlas in my head. That's enough, Tulai. He will live. We've healed him. He can finish healing on his own. It will hurt the pup, he said as he removed our hands from Danny. We all dropped to the floor with small thuds and I saw Maya fall next to Danny as he struggled to sit up, his wound still bleeding. I sent up a silent prayer of thanks to Selene before I felt myself faint.